Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Coming up on today's show, we'll have a look back at the recent Symetra Tour event, the Valley Forge Invitational. It was an inaugural event for the Symetra Tour here in the Philadelphia area. Rachel Riley will give us a look at who won and everything else that went on at Raven's Claw. Speaking about inaugurals, we're going to have our first segment of Meet the Pro. This time around, we're going to meet a gentleman who's been a pro in the Philadelphia area for a while. We're not going to give away who it is exactly, but you'll want to stay tuned. Maybe it's your pro. Also coming up, Marty Emino from the Golf Association of Philadelphia looks back in a recent event, the Mid-Am Championship at Llanerch Country Club. And we'll have our teed off panel talking about the U.S. Open. It's all next, right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at MontcoGolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA, experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.
I'd be nowhere near the golfer or person that I am today without Cam. We don't hold our thoughts back with each other, and that's why we're able to be so successful.
Jordan brought with him a tremendous desire to achieve, whether it was that first day that we met or every session thereafter.
One of the epic performances.
Accomplishing these lifetime goals, could not have done it without Cam.
The best stories end in thanks. Share your story at ThanksPGAPro.com.
Welcome back to Inside Golf. Time now to take a look back at the inaugural Valley Forge Invitational. It was the Symetra Tour's debut performance here in the Philadelphia area. It happened on the weekend of Memorial Day. Rachel Riley's here with a look at the Valley Forge Invitational at Raven's Claw.
Thanks, Harry. It's been a tremendous week here at the Raven's Claw Golf Club in Pottstown, where the inaugural Valley Forge Invitational was held. We couldn't have asked for a better week, from the beautiful weather to the amazing course conditions, in a tournament where more than 130 women competed from 28 countries all over the world. Each Symetra Tour event is important to these up-and-coming young women golfers hoping to join the LPGA Tour.
The Symetra Tour is the official qualifying tour of the LPGA. At the end of our 21 schedule of 2018, there will be the top 10 from the money list who will graduate to the LPGA and play on the LPGA Tour in 2019.
In fact, tournament winner Louise Ritterstrom's win catapulted her from number 24 on the tour to number 7. She collects the top prize check for $15,000. Trailing by 3 strokes entering the third and final day of competition, the 24-year-old from Sweden shot a sizzling 8 under 63, a Raven's Claw course record. How did she approach the round?
My main strategy, I feel like, was to just try to hit every shot the best I possibly could, and just stick to that no matter what happened out there. The course is a little shorter than we play usually, but like I said, the conditions were great, so it's a good course.
Well, congratulations again. Big win for you.
Thank you.
She had lots of support from her Swedish teammates. A second-year Symetra Tour player, Ritterstrom starred when attending UCLA. She took the lead away from the 36-hole leader Laura Wern with a birdie on number 10. She never looked back, with birdies on 3 of her last 5 holes, including this 4-footer on hole 18.
you know, the support from Valley Forge Tourism, Convention Board, and as well as Pottstown Area Health and Wellness, putting up the purse for these girls to come, and then all the support from the volunteers and the local community and sponsors. It was really fabulous. We had over 150 volunteers here this week. It's been great.
Congratulations again to Louise for not only winning, of course, but in doing so, setting a course record. It's been such a great week here having the Symetra Tour in the Philadelphia region for the first time. And for Inside Golf, I'm Rachel Riley from the Valley Forge Tourism and Convention Board.
Thanks, Rachel. Coming up, more to come here on Inside Golf. We'll have our first segment of Meet the Pro, and we'll take a look back at the recent Mid-Am Championship of the Golf Association of Philadelphia. They're coming up next, right here on Inside Golf.
As long as there is fear, as long as there is curiosity, as long as there are undiscovered corners of the earth, and as long as there is willingness and desire, then you are capable of more. The BMW Championship is coming to Philadelphia September 2018. The top 70 PGA Tour players will be there. Will you?
Hey viewers of Inside Golf, have you heard about Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine? Published by ex-Eagles and Philadelphia Stars tight end Ken Dunnick, these magazines offer the very best in content on subjects of interest to men. Writers include Bill Line and George Anastasia. And you can increase your business by attending our monthly private parties as an advertiser. Call 856-912-4007 or email ken@jerseymanmagazine.com for more information. Now, Meet the Pro, brought to you by Haverford Trust, where quality investing is a hole-in-one for our clients.
I was 13, and Cobb's Creek was right around the corner. So I started getting balls out of the creek, selling them to Andy Patino. Started playing golf with a friend of mine, and I got hooked immediately. I went to Drexel, and I played golf for 4 years, which was terrific. I got out in industry for about a year and a half, and I really missed golf. And a good friend of mine, Frank Palumbo, informed me that there was an opening at Rolling Green, and I interviewed with Harry Hagee, and that's where I started my career, and Rolling Green was a wonderful place to start out. And I always say I learned how to play the game at Rolling Green because it was a very demanding golf course. The section was hiring for the first time a full-time tournament director. The program got so big we needed a full-time person. So I looked at the job and thought, that would be really interesting. So I applied for the job and I got it. And I realized very quickly that I needed to get up to speed with rules. So after a year out in the field, I went to my first rules workshop, and that's where it started. 20 years as the head professional, you meet a lot of wonderful people. You watch junior golfers grow up and become adults. Teaching, playing golf with them, fitting people for clubs, and helping them enjoy the game. And the relationships, to me, that's what made being a head golf professional very rewarding. I mean, I loved every minute of it. And of course, you get into your mid-50s, and something like the job I have now comes along. As hard as it just was a perfect segue for me. We had a member who actually was dead on the golf course on the third tee. He got brought back to life by some members, incredible circumstances, came back to life, and I fitted him for a new set of clubs. And his first round of golf with his new clubs, he got to the third hole where he had his heart issue, and he made a hole-in-one. And God bless Vic Dupuy. He's a great guy and a great family guy and a dear friend. Like I tell my son TJ, I always told him, find your passion. What are you passionate about? And if it's golf, find a niche in golf that you really enjoy. It's a very competitive business, hard to find head professional jobs, but you can also, in today's world with expanded career paths, you can get into media, you can get into rules, a lot of different avenues that you can become a PGA member and then spread your wings, so to speak. When finding that right job, remember that you're in your resume building years, so where you go and where you work will determine where you end up. It's no different in golf than any other business. It's the network that's going to get you to where you want to go.
Always a pleasure to see Tom Karpus add so much to Inside Golf whenever he's here, and it looks like he's really taken nicely to that new career as a rules official with the PGA Tour Champions. Now, recently, the Golf Association of Philadelphia held its annual Mid-Am Championship, and here to recap things for us is Marty Emino.
The Golf Association of Philadelphia's first major of the season took place right here at Llanerch Country Club. Michael Hyland's chronic back issues had sidelined the multiple-time major winner the better part of the last 2 seasons. At Llanerch, Hyland rekindled his game of days past, taking the 35th Middle Amateur Championship presented by Callaway Golf. Hyland, 39 of Medford, New Jersey, finished at 1 over par for the 2 rounds, coasting to a 3-shot victory over Michael McDermott of Marion.
I never dreamed I'd be back in this position. I mean, I've literally given up on competitive golf. It's just all about my kids right now and work and family and all that. But when this tournament came out, it was at Llanerch. I had to play. I felt horrible all year, and just if it's over 80, for some reason it feels good. I can get loose. The spring was really hard on me.
And in first place, welcome back to the Gap, Michael Hyland.
Hyland, a Little Mill member, entered round 2 as a co-leader with Tom Grady of Radley Run. Both finished the initial 18 holes at 1 under par. Some early round jitters, however, watched both players falter, and Matthew Finger of DuPont, who fell in a playoff for the Mid-Am title last year, jump to the top of the leaderboard. Hyland settled his nerves late on the front 9 and eventually reclaimed the lead on number 14. Here, at the par 5 16th, Hyland stood a couple shots clear and a chance to salt the victory away, but missed this birdie putt to the low side to remain at 2 over and 2 shots ahead. Hyland, on the very next hole, the uphill 148-yard par 3 17th, alleviated any championship fretting.
The whole tournament came down to 17. It's such a great short par 3. I knew everybody was watching that hole, and luckily I could hit a perfect wedge, and the shot came off awesome. 5 feet at the mud, it was just super fast. Another Llanerch putt where if you hit it too hard, you're going to go 10 feet past. And luckily I shook it in. I mean, nobody clapped on the from the gallery on the tee shot. I was a little shocked. Luckily it went in.
McDermott, the former Llanerch member and 4-time Middle Amateur champion himself, finished his second round even par.
I did it on the front. I shot my 1 under on the front, and then the back I just made some really hard to describe mistakes. Just unfortunate because I was in some decent positions and really shouldn't have made bogeys, and it just set me back a little bit and put me in a place where I needed a bit of a miracle coming in. I needed some help, and I didn't do my share, and Mike, really finished strong. So second's good. It's better. I'm glad I didn't lose by 1. I'm glad it was a comfortable 3 or whatever it was, because it doesn't sting quite as much.
For Hyland, the victory meant more than having his name engraved on the perpetual trophy. It completed a personal Grand Slam.
New Jersey Am, New Jersey Mid, Philly Am, and was missing this one. And to complete that here at Llanerch is incredibly special.
Well, thanks to his back, Michael Hyland is back. Reporting for the Golf Association of Philadelphia, I'm Marty Emino.
Stay with us. Next up on Inside Golf, our teed-off panel here at Bluestone Country Club with a preview of the U.S. Open.
Great Sundays in all of golf. Had 11 one-putts on the front 9.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues now with our teed-off panel, and today we're coming to you from Bluestone Country Club in Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. If you're interested in membership, let me be the first to tell you that their incentive program continues for membership here at Bluestone. If you'd like more information, go to bluestonecc.com. and become a member at Bluestone in Bluebell. All right, our panel today includes Bob Shepard, PGA professional, author, and a longtime contributor to Inside Golf. Good
Thanks,
to see
Harry.
you, Shep.
Good to see you. Yep, always a pleasure.
Speaking of authors, Joe Logan from myphillygolf.com. He's written about more golf than we've ever played. But Joe, it's always a pleasure to talk golf with you here on Teed Off. And Oscar Mestre is back. Oscar is a member at Overbrook.
Correct.
And if you're into Philadelphia amateur golf, you know this guy. I mean, he's now, believe it or not, old enough to play in the senior events. I don't know how you squeeze by. They must do a DNA on you, right?
They checked my...
You need a photo ID, I bet.
They did check the photo ID. I qualify.
Good to see you, Oscar.
Good to see you, Harry.
All right, let's talk, gentlemen, about a timely topic in golf circles internationally. Joe Shinnecock hosting the 2018 U.S. Open. I believe it's like the 5th time that the Open has been played there. The last time the winner, and you were there, was 04, Retief Goosen. Shot 3 under par, one of the better scores in an Open competition. Is it that tough at Shinnecock?
It is tough, and when the USGA wants to make it tougher, they can. I mean, the thing about the course is it is out on the far end of Long Island, Southampton, in some of the richest real estate in America. I remember I rented a house out there with some other guys, and we walked around the house going like, people live like this? And then we'd go over to the golf course and say,
and they play
people
like
are
this.
members of courses like this, you know, and then they made it hard. And you know, Retief Goosen had one of the great Sundays in all of golf. Had 11 one-putts on the front 9, 24 one-putts on the day, and won his second Open. So it's a great venue for the U.S. Open.
There was a little controversy involved that year, having to do with the greens, the fact they had to come out and syringe them in between groups. We'll get to that in a little bit, and Joe's recollections of that. But Shep, you've been to Shinnecock more than once. As Joe mentioned, it's in a remote area. It's a link-style golf course, and the architect, believe it or not, is a guy that I don't think gets enough recognition for what he's done, not only in Philadelphia, but in places like Shinnecock. William Flynn, but we'll talk about him a little bit later on too. Your recollections, you were, I guess, around and playing, I don't know if you may have even played in that 86 United States Open when Raymond Floyd won it.
That's right, yeah. He wasn't on TV very much until the end. If you remember, all of a sudden Ray Floyd won the Open, and I think it was Greg Norman.
Oh.
I think they had all the press was on him all week long, and then all of a sudden Ray Floyd showed up, which was great. I thought it was great because he's a good man and a good thing. The thing about Shinnecock that I was most impressed with, the first hole goes off into a valley and dogleg to the right, and you get to the second tee and say, man, that was the best hole I've ever played. 2 goes up the hill, and you get done playing that, and you say, wait a minute, that might have been the best hole I've ever played. Then you chip your way through the front 9, and you get off 10, and then you play 11, and you say to yourself, when is this going to stop?
Right.
Every hole's better than the one before it. And that's the blessing of Shinnecock, I think. Shinnecock is a native tribe of people up in that area. And I think they have a little handle on the ability of that golf course, because it is spectacular.
There's also an ongoing, I think, litigation about the Indian tribe saying that that land is actually theirs, but that's for another show. Oscar, in about 10 years later, in 95, I think it was, a fellow by the name of Corey Pavin, who is built similar to your stature.
Yes.
Won with an even par score, a memorable shot that they always show, one of the classics, iconic shots in U.S. Open history on the 18th hole. I think he hit a 4-wood, his second shot uphill. Never saw where it landed.
Right.
Goes running up the hill a la Sergio a few years later.
Sergio before Sergio.
Sergio before Sergio. But you've never played the course, right?
I've never played the course. I have been promised this year that I'm going to play it.
Really?
By a good friend. We were trying to make it happen before the Open, but obviously, you know, the USGA starts regulating play, so we weren't able to do it. But there's no question it identifies a true champion.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my God, yes.
It's a good.
Right.
It's a great filtration system.
And it's not over.
No
till
flukes
it's over.
win there. No
18,
flukes win there.
9, whichever way
Well, you
they
know,
end up on.
Phil Mickelson has said, Joe, leading up to this year's event, that he thinks it's the best setup in 25 years of him competing in U.S. Opens. That's really saying something.
And the USGA sort of famously got it wrong the last time in '04 when Goosen won with one of the most famous incidents in golf course setup history, and that was the 7th green, which it's a Redan green that sort of goes away from the front to back, and they cut it so short and it was so hot, it started burning up. They were losing the green, and they had to do something which is unheard of in U.S. Opens, and that is come out and syringe the green, which is a ridiculous term because what they're really doing is spraying a hose. There's no syringe involved. But they were afraid they were going to lose the green between one group and the next.
Yeah, during the competition. Let's talk about this year and people you think have a legitimate chance, because anytime he plays, Tiger Woods, despite his injuries, but now with his comeback, even though he's coming into this tournament with arguably maybe one of his worst putting performances ever. If he can get his putter working for him, Oscar, he's going to be a contender.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I would have said earlier this year when Tiger, as he was making his comeback, that there was no way he would be as competitive as he's been. So he's proven me wrong already. So I wouldn't want to be the one to say that he can't win this Open. As I think about this Open, though, I do believe that there's you know, a bunch of very strong international players that have a really good chance this year. I mean, obviously the Americans, you know, are very strong. I think Rory McIlroy and Heinrich and Stinson, I think, are really strong international players that I think, you know, in addition to, you know, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and Tiger and Dustin Johnson, who you can never discount. Those would kind of be my top 5, 6 to watch for this.
How about it, Shep? How about a guy like Phil Mickelson, who's chasing that elusive first U.S. Open championship? He's got a lot of seconds. Yep. In fact, he had a second up at Shinnecock the last time it was there.
Yes.
To Goosen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where's he going to be?
Well, you were just mentioning McIlroy, and McIlroy just got nipped by Francesco Molinari over at Wentworth last week, I think. And he was, those two guys are really, really good. So it's an amazing foreign invasion.
Yeah, an impact. I mentioned earlier in the start of our teed off today about William Flynn, the architect, and he was not originally from Philadelphia, Joe, but he's considered a Philadelphia architect.
Yes.
He's from up in New England. He designed up there Brookline, Shinnecock we mentioned, but he's got about maybe arguably 20, 25 courses in the Philly area, of which 5 or 6 maybe top 10 material just in Philadelphia.
I think, and I think a lot of people think, he has had more impact on this community in terms of golf course architecture than any architect, and that includes Donald Ross, Tillinghast. I mean, there's so many really quality Flynn courses. You know,
right.
His legacy here is
came here as a young man to work for you, Wilson and Marion. And Wilson turned over a lot of that golf course to him. He also did Marion West, and then he went on. I mean, the list, literally, the likes of Huntington Valley, Philmont, Manufacturers, Doylestown, Lehigh Country Club, Pocono Manor, McCall's Field. He also did Philly Country Club. People forget
Rolling Green.
And Rolling Green.
One of the top courses.
And Shinnecock Hills also is on the resume of William Flynn. Gentlemen, enjoy the U.S. Open. Goes for you viewers as well, and we'll be back with more Inside Golf in just a moment.
Located in Bluebell, just a short drive from Plymouth Meeting, Bluestone Country Club offers a setting that's close at hand but feels like a world away. Bluestone offers a championship caliber golf course, practice facilities including a large driving range, separate chipping and putting areas, and a staff of PGA professionals. At the Country House at Bluestone, you'll find excellent food, superb service, and an outstanding setting. Their expert staff will assist in planning your next event, whether it's a wedding or simply a luncheon, dinner, or cocktail party. Check out Bluestone's variety of membership options. Much more than a golf course, Bluestone is a community.
first tee of Greater Philadelphia, where golf is more than a game.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. Our thanks to Rachel Riley for giving us a look back at the recent Symetra Tour event, the Valley Forge Invitational at Ravens Claw. Also, our thanks to Marty Emino and his recap of the recent Golf Association of Philadelphia Mid-Am Championship at Llanerch. And we hope you enjoyed, I'm sure you did, our sit down with Tom Karpis in our first installment of Meet the Pro, sponsored by Haverford Trust. We're going to be giving you a chance to meet a lot of pros in that Meet the Pros segment sponsored by Haverford Trust in the weeks ahead here on Inside Golf. I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you out there, don't pick up. See you next time right here on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. 54 courses, 300,000 yards. Check them out at MontcoGolf.com. By the First Tee of Philadelphia. The First Tee helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit thefirstteephiladelphia.org. By the Golf Association of Philadelphia, GAP, celebrating amateur golf since 1897. By Jersey Man Magazine, it's a Jersey way of life. And by Philly Man Magazine, bringing it to Broad Street. By the Haverford Trust Company. Quality is in our DNA. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia Section PGA. Experts in the game and business of golf. Take time to thank your local PGA golf professional.